Hello everyone and welcome back, well, welcome to 2017 and the first whisky review of the year. Now the previous video to this was the Whisky of the Year review, featuring the Macallan No. 2, Lefroy 10, Lagavulin 8, Compass Box Enlightenment and that Woodford Rye bottle. So we'll be kind of working through those bottles that we haven't reviewed, with the exception of the Woodford Rye, because I have something quite special lined up for that, which you'll see in the near future. But today we are focusing on the Macallan No. 2 edition. Now I apologise if the shot is a little bit out of focus. I've been ill for a while, so my eyesight's not what it used to be, and I can't. Well, it doesn't really matter if it's in focus or not because this is a bright orange box, so you can see it no matter where you look. Now, Macallan No. 2. It's the second edition of, well, only 2 releases so far. We know that No. 3 is coming out next year because it says so on the inside of the lid right there. What are they? They're just limited edition releases from Macallan, something they've become somewhat synonymous for in the last couple of years, and this one is exceptionally good. Now, as I mentioned in the previous video, which was the Whisky of the Year video, this is a culmination of ideas and thoughts from Bob Delgano, who is the master whisky maker at Macallan, and the 3 brothers who own El Cellar de Can Roca in Spain, Josep Roca, Joan Roca and Jordi Roca. Now the beauty of this is Macallan provided you with all of the information you could ever want to know in the bottle. So let me tell you about what this whisky is and what's inside it. So it's a combination of 4 different barrels. One is a first fill European oak cask from the Jose Miguel Martin bodega. The second is a combination of first and second fill American and European oak from Diego Martin. The third is a combination of first and second fill American oak from the Vasima bodega, and then the final one, which was picked by Mr. Delgano, is a first fill European oak from the Tivasa bodega. Now, like most distilleries, sorry, I'm recovering from a chest infection. Like most distilleries, Macallan will handpick certain bodegas throughout Spain for their sherry casks, and because Macallan is renowned for its sherry use, no doubt this one will have had quite a lot of rigorous testing on certain casks. So those casks were chosen and put together, bottled at 48.2% with natural colouring, and as far as I'm aware it's not chill filtered. Doesn't state it anywhere on the bottle, but I can't see why they would at this percentage, because the bottle at 48.2 is quite unusual for Macallan anyway. So let's examine the colour of the thing. It is a wonderful, natural, kind of just wonderful amber toffee colour. Can't really get away from that. Somewhat classic Macallan. And because the majority of this is European oak, I should point out a lot of sherry bodegas do like to use American oak. It's a bit more consistent, you get a slightly tighter grain, it just delivers a more consistent flavour. But with this being a bulk European oak base, you're going to get those drier, spicier, just earthier kind of tones from that wood. It's a much more robust kind of flavour. So let's have a little go on the nose. Straight away you're getting that. It's always difficult to get away from that natural sherry vibe you get from just smelling it. It smells like a wonderful kind of Oloroso sherry. Elements of sort of chocolate orange and kind of quite damp wood, like kind of damp forest floors and all that kind of thing. Dried lemon. Kind of lemon preserve kind of thing. A lovely amount of toffee, which kind of fits quite well with the colour. And kind of like honey and shortbread biscuits. But underneath all of that, there is this very, and this is a phrase I've never used before, a very kind of floral, oaky texture, kind of like cedarwood or sandalwood. It's got that really kind of fresh smelling oak style with it. And then the usual suspects of like raisins and sultanas, and I've already mentioned chocolate, but there's a little bit more towards the back of it too. Let's have a little taste. undeniably Macallan. The thing that gets me with a lot of Macallan drinkers is it's regarded as this very smooth whiskey. And I think a lot of people these days mistake the word smooth for meaning flavourful. And when I did that Macallan 12 review a couple of weeks ago, with the beginner's guide, I think it was in the Highland or the Speyside series, one of them. Beautiful nose, not a lot on the palate, nice finish. This has so much more going on the palate. So you get all those wonderful kind of typical Macallan flavours. And then the two main components with this are really beautiful oak on the palate and a little bit of smoke that kind of just intertwine beautifully in the back of your mouth. Mixing in those kind of honey, golden syrup, those slight vanilla notes coming from the American oak as well, which are quite nice. They're not extremely present, but are there. You do get these little flecks of vanilla every now and then. But it has so much oak and kind of like herbaceous, spicy ginger flavours. It's very, 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 very good. And again, more ginger on the finish, a wisp of smoke, and a little bit of it is peat smoke. You know, Macallan do peat their whiskey to a very small degree. They have released some heavily peated stuff quite recently with the Macallan Rare Cask Black Edition and a few other things. So there's a little bit of smoke doing the rounds. A lot of that could be to the use of like the charring of barrels too. Yeah, the three main components with this whiskey: oak, ginger spice, and a little bit of smoke, all coming together, perfectly balanced at 48.2%. The finish is a little bit drying, as you would expect. I assume this whiskey is probably about 15 to 18 years old, because that level of oak I've only ever experienced with things like that. It's kind of like Macallan 18's cousin, but a little bit lighter on the sherry, not as intense with the sherry. Absolutely fantastic whiskey. As you all know, this was number 5 in the top 5 of the year, last year I should say. And yeah, totally blew me away. Best Macallan I've tried in at least 5 years of their new standard releases. Totally outstanding. And I think it's just over about £70 a bottle. I think I picked that up for about 75 quid, which isn't too bad for a brand new Macallan release. It's pretty good. And you can't really miss it when it's on the shelf because it is bright orange, so do keep an eye out. In terms of a score out of 10, that is a solid 9 for me. Genuinely impressive on all boundaries. Can't particularly find a flaw with it. The only thing that doesn't make it a 10 is if I was told how old it was. I think that would be quite interesting to know. I'm assuming 15 to 18, but it could even be older. You don't really know. Actually, you know, given the price point, it's probably not older than 15 to a little bit of 18-year-old, isn't it? But yeah, a solid 9 out of 10. Absolutely outstanding. If you can find it, I believe this has now been distributed around the world. I'm not sure how much of it was made. I'd imagine not a lot. And you know, if you do manage to pick one up, everything you could ever want to know is on the back, on the front, the type of casks, you know, a combination of sherry butts, sherry hogsheads, American puncheons, all that kind of thing. Loads of information. Thank you very much, Macallan, for providing us with all this information. Thank you very much for releasing this outstanding whiskey. And I will see you all next week, and hopefully you'll have a lovely couple of days in between then. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye.